You look at all the pictures that the Mayor of London, the current Mayor of London I should point out, Sir Sadiq Khan, has plastered all over his social media pages. Well, as I pointed out, this was him attending a climate conference over in Brazil, with 16 people around him, advising him, helping him write speeches, getting it all together at a huge cost to you and I, right? So consequently, what did we get told? Well, not much. But then we find out that, in fact, clearly, Sadiq Khan is going deaf. Oh yes, as ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome, one and all brand new subscribers. A lot of people ask me in the comments, is it safe to come, sorry, we'll have a better way, we'll get told off for that. A lot of people ask me in the comments, is it safe to come to London? And I would say yes, predominantly, but it's like everywhere now, all thanks to the level of sort of governments that we have. People don't want you to have nice things. So the things that I always warn people, for instance, are if you're shopping and maybe it's just a small treat in something like Harrods or Selfridges or something like that, you might just get the carry a bag with a trinket in it. Don't advertise it. Put it in another bag, because people will try and snatch it off you on the street or on a bus or something like that. It is quite dangerous on that level. This is the London, this is the UK particularly, that we're now living under, particularly in London, as I say, under the Mayor of London, dubbed by the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. And we admire him for this. First of all, he called him a stone cold loser, right? The big words. And then he followed that up with the worst mayor in the world. And this was because Sadiq Khan, at the recent second official state visit, wanted to come over into Windsor and try and make amends. Sadiq Khan is all about himself. It's all about his ego. You'll notice in all of these pictures that he's always pictured centre. He basically gets round this because he's the shortest person in the room. So he said if he's at the back, nobody will see him. Some might suggest this is a blessing, but this is the way he operates to make sure his ego is pushed right, as I say, to the front. But clearly Sadiq Khan is going deaf on a huge, huge level. I pointed out to you before that the councillor for the Conservatives in City Hall, Susan Hall, basically asked him if he knew anything about the grooming gangs that had escalated over in the very heart of London. He claimed not to know anything. No, I didn't. But what was she talking about? Could she spell it out? Clearly, deaf ears. But then, in Brazil, literally, he decided, well, take a look at this.
London, why are you all the way here in Rio? There's a couple of prisoners that have escaped from Wandsworth Prison. Are you in the right place, or should you be back at home?
We've seen in London on a daily basis the consequences of air pollution, consequences of excess heat causing premature deaths, consequences of our over-reliance on fossil fuel. We're turning that crisis into an opportunity. We're just dealing with the issue of air pollution with the world's first and largest ultra emission zone. We're also creating a good green job.
Now what's interesting here is this is from a newspaper, the Daily Mirror, that normally would be very subservient to the likes of the Labour Party, which of course is Sadiq's party. But what you have to remember, and this is the bigger picture, he just chose blatantly to ignore the question. And this has happened to me when I've interviewed him. And when you push it, they just simply take him away. He's that spineless, really. Labour just do this. They just lie to you or ignore the question. Their idea, and this is the rhetoric that goes on inside Downing Street, Keir Starmer, if there's a drama, just move him away into another country till that's died down, and then he'll say things like, I'm not about to take lectures from the Conservatives or indeed Reform UK. But Sadiq Khan is blatantly saying he doesn't care about London. If you look at recently the pictures that talk about harassment on the London Tube, all of the predators are white, right? That's simply not true. There's no fair balance or inclusivity there. But this is because Sadiq is a race baiter. He wants you to get that reaction. He wants you to be annoyed. He signs off all of these ads. Remember, just under a week ago now, he pointed out that Ricky Gervais's ad, which was very humorous in many respects, but sadly, very also chillingly correct, well, he ordered them down instantly, just before he flew thousands of miles away to save London from the humidity, which is virtually nowhere, right? Consequently, as I said, when a major newspaper that normally backs somebody like Sadiq Khan and he blatantly ignores them, this didn't go down well. And you can only put it down to one thing. Clearly, not only is he unstable for the job, but now deaf as a post too. What do you think? As ever, it's a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.